Hello, Tarot Tube. So this video has the potential to be a really interesting little ramble because I got two new angel decks in, and there's like a little story behind each. And because I had the two of them to look at, I started thinking about my other angel decks, which are actually kind of a lot. And then I started thinking about archetypes. So, because I feel that angel decks in general, they're talking about archetypes, also known in our world as the major arcana. So what I thought I would do is talk about each of these decks and do a walkthrough. And if you're not into my philosophizing, I will put chapter markers in the description below so you can hop to either one of these and just see them, because I think there's not a whole lot out there about these two that I see. It's not coming across my feed anyway. So the first one I thought I would talk about is this Fallen Angel Oracle cards. So I became aware of this one, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I just didn't get it because I was really studying. I actually took classes with Kyle Gray, and I took two of his decks and picked out the ones that were my favorites and created this mega deck of angels, and it's all like very, very positive, right? Then I was watching Good Omens. Haven't seen it? I highly recommend it. It's on, I'm not a huge Amazon fan, but it is on Amazon Prime, so that's where you have to go if you want to watch it. And I started thinking about the idea of angels, fallen angels from heaven, but also, demons from hell, or whatever you want to call it. Personally, I don't really believe in hell or heaven, but that's beside the point. But what about these energies, these archetypes that are not so clear cut? They're not so, it's just all good or it's just all evil. What about that gray area? And I remember when I was taking the class with Kyle Gray, I had the naivety, you know what I mean, to ask in the Facebook group, well, what about the fallen angels? And what about the Fallen Angel Oracle card? What's everybody think about that? Boy, did that post get taken down fast. I did not get an answer, obviously. Anyway, I finally just, after I've been watching Good Omens for a while, I said, you know what? I'm curious. I want to see what this guy did with this. So without further ado, so this is coming out of England, the UK, I should say. It's illustrated by Sarah Perkins, and the author is Nigel Suckling. Don't you know he got teased? And it comes in this kind of unusual box that I do not love. We're going to talk about the box a little bit too. So you've got angels on the back, you've got some sides, some individual cards on the sides. It's pretty attractive, and it's, we don't have a lot of boxes that open up this way. But man, oh man, do I not like the space. So we're into that Blue Angel problem where the book is one size and the deck's another and things don't really fit. So it comes like this with this thing. And I only kept it so I could show it to you because I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to keep things loose and let them shake around. Now I haven't gone through the whole deck because I wanted you to see, what have I done here? I wanted you to see what happens here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of flip through here so you can see these. I may comment, I may not. So what they've done with this is it looks like collage to me. I wonder if it says. Let's not guess if there's an actual answer. Nothing back there. And nothing there, but it looks to me like collage, so that's all I have to say on the subject. And I kind of like this colorway where you can see the colors, but they are a little on the darker side. So I feel like that kind of carries through with this idea of fallen. So what you've got on each card is the name of the angel, a number, which is nice because it's in order. You can find it easily, and some keywords. And I think that some of these keywords, they're not good or bad. I mean, it's just choice, making a choice. That's all. That's all it means. Justice could be good, could be bad. Travel, I would say there's nothing about that. Success, you think it's good, but sometimes it's not. Conflict, sometimes necessary. Moderation, not a bad idea. Honesty. So Morax, leadership. So I feel like there's 72 of these cards. So there's certainly enough to cover a lot of different messages. So I feel that in general, this is a deck that has enough breadth that you could cover a lot of issues. You know, as with any deck, you have to word your questions very well to get the information you're looking for. But I like the combination of sculpture, architecture, and landscape, and they almost all have some kind of like energy that seems to be coming from the weather or the sky, the time of day, something. So I like those combined elements. I think it's pretty cool. And most of this sculpture seems to me to be coming from a graveyard. A lot of angel imagery, some things that look like they might be, what do you call it? Yeah, you know, go ahead, drop it in the comments. Not a tomb. Sepulcher? No, that's not right. Anyway, like this one steps away. This looks like some kind of Greek or Roman sculpture. But a lot of it, which I wouldn't expect to see in a cemetery, a lot of it just looks like the kind of religious iconography you expect to see in a cemetery. And then every once in a while you got something like this, Asmodee upheaval. These are pretty glossy, so I'm hoping that you're able to, you know, the reflection is, you're able to see them well enough in the video. Now, good, we came to this part. So I haven't gone through the whole deck because I wanted to show you. The deck comes, look at this. These are like in a block. Can you see how that is? So what you have to do when you get this deck is you have to sort of break this. And then you have to separate these. Isn't that kooky? There, look, it's not easy. So you have to be sort of careful. I haven't damaged a card yet, but still, it's a bit of a challenge. But some of these things are really quite beautiful. This one with the sword, you've got the cross because, you know, a Christian cemetery, and you have the crow. So it's very much, I mean, like I said, it's coming out of England, so you would expect it to be heavily Christian in its imagery, and it does not disappoint. It is. I love this archway. But so many different, here's another clump of cards. So many different kinds of angel images. It's quite remarkable, don't you think, that there could be so many different ones? And then look, here's one. It looks like some kind of a ritual. If I could just get these separated, we may not talk about the one that's stuck to the bottom of this. Pardon me. Just talk amongst yourselves while I try to do this. Okay, I'm not gonna. Oh, here we go. I got it. All right, but look at this. This Zagan transformation. And we have, is it a bull? I guess. This cross looks kind of, this fallen over cross, it looks kind of bloody. We've got a plant coming up. We've got a basin with something red in it. It has a ritual sacrifice look to it, and it's called Transformation. So, you know, if you just want to do kind of intuitive readings, there's certainly a lot of imagery to go off of with this thing. Here's resolution, love. I'm trying to unstick these and not make you wait too long for the cards. I have no idea how to see it. Look at this. So, this is an angel unicorn. There are a lot of owls I'm noticing. But look, we've got an owl on an angel sculpture with a sort of wolf predator in the background there. Persuasion. And look, it's a plinth, I think we'd call it. And it's got a list of names on it that all start with C and some symbols, which might mean something to somebody. It doesn't mean anything to me. Big cat. More stuck cards. We've got a white horse for honesty with an urn. I don't really understand this head. Is that like a cat? Lots and lots of crosses, but it is a fallen angel deck. Here's a raptor of some sort. Looks like maybe a hawk, but look, it's got the body, a human body, male body. So really a lot to, and this is definitely the most sort of alive, modern looking figure we've seen before. Vigilance. So far, I meant. I can hear those peeling off. Renewal. Phoenix. Would expect to see some nice fire in that, but sort of a mother and child image. So I'm not sure, a rebirth. That just seems like straight birth to me. So that, got to think about that. Recuperation, more owls. Dandelion. Empathy. Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's see what the guidebook says about dandelion. And now that I've got them all loose, I could shuffle. I'm not going to try a riffle. Let's just do this. Well, they slide together nicely. Okay, and this is the back. I think I didn't show you the back yet. So let's see what the guidebook says about dandelion. 71, empathy. So here's what our guidebook looks like. They're putting 2 cards on each page. So dandelion, the element is water, the planet is Venus. Excuse me. The message is peace and reconciliation can be achieved through understanding and the recognition of common humanity. Dandelion is a glorious angel whose face constantly changes, reflecting all the types of people in the world, both male and female. He, she carries a great book, which is a record of all the lives that are or have been, and these are the lives reflected in his, her shifting countenance. Dandelion teaches insight and empathy, the understanding of the hearts and minds of other people, no matter how different their beliefs, customs, and appearance may at first seem. This angel is a great peacemaker. So that's the meaning for this card that the creator intended. So then we'll talk just a little bit about the creator, then we'll go over to our other deck. So what this creates, so when I first saw this deck, I thought it was going to be like super dark and, you know, have these questionable messages and, oh, maybe I would be like toying with this dark energy. And now that I have it in my hands, I don't see that at all. So there's a whole bit here about where he got this information from, primarily from a gentleman named Johann Weyer, I'm going to guess, from the 16th century, who did this work in Latin, of course. And he referred to another book. So it's interesting. And it also talks a little bit about how the Golden Dawn took information from this. Anywho, so there is some decent historical reference in here. I'm inclined to think that, you know, to the extent that there is an answer about who the angels are, you know, this person did their due diligence. Okay, so that is kind of all I have to say about this. It's not like an evil dark energy deck. I do understand why he called it Fallen Angel Oracle cards. There's nothing to be afraid of here, though. So let's put it to the side, and now let's talk about this. So this deck, I just stumbled on yesterday, and it was one of the metaphysical shops in my area has just opened a new location, and I just went in to say hello and be supportive in general, and I saw this deck, and I don't know what to say. It just kind of jumped onto the table, and I had to buy it. It just happened. But I loved it because, and I will say, let's give a shout out to House Freya, the name of the shop, because they actually have decks out that you can touch, which, I mean, I know that I hear people talking about that all the time, but most of the stores around me won't let you touch the decks. Anyway, here is the back. And I'm just going to walk through these pretty quickly and just say that I am very intrigued with this. I've only gone through this deck, just sort of flip through it like twice. I am intrigued with it because of two things. Number one, the cultural diversity here. These are not all angels who apparently came out of the United Kingdom. They came from all different kinds of places. And since I don't really think of angels exactly as Christian or something, I just think of them as energy sources that can be helpful, supportive, guiding, but I don't necessarily think of them as like humanoid bodies. So to the extent that there are images that I can look at to sort of tap into these energies, these angel energies, I just kind of take it as a reference point, I suppose you could say. And I like these because these angels are doing things. They're not just sort of looking out at you, striking a pose. They're not voguing angels. These are angels who are, they are addressing you, but they're also doing something, right? She's doing something. And I like that. I think that's very cool. And I think that, if you want to just read it intuitively and not even think about what Azariel might stand for, these cards have a lot of information. And I feel like the way they framed them, so if you notice, I'm just kind of fan a little bit. There's different frame styles here. And I feel like these frame styles also kind of help get you into some kind of energy or cultural setting that sort of helps you with reading them. Gabriel's pretty traditional. I like that they made Gabriel female in this deck. I always thought it was a little bit weird that a man would come to Mary and announce the birth. Shouldn't that have been a woman, if it's going to be a gender at all? So I feel like, heavily Europe and the Americas in terms of continents, but not exclusively. And I appreciate that. So let's just, at random, pull a card and see what the guidebook says about that, and then we can take a look at how the guidebook talks about things. I'm going to go with Yehudiel, maybe 35, and I'm sure that this image, this little glyph means something, and see how they're all over there, so it's probably related. Oh, I forgot to see how many cards there are in here. 38, 39, 40. Okay, but 32. Let's put him here. There we go. That's a decent framing. The angel of figureheads, Yehudiel, forgive me if I'm wrong. His name means laudation of God, and he helps us to feel qualified to step into our own guiding and leadership roles. Like his image in the oracle, Yehudiel is often depicted wearing a crown and carrying a three-pronged whip. Let's see if I can find that. Yep, there we go. I lost my place, representing the divine authority of the Holy Trinity. So there's that Christian stuff. He is linked with the Sacred Heart, helping us to recognize our own Christ consciousness. There's the Sacred Heart image. So we may live heaven on earth and teach it to others. If you are in a position of authority, ask Yehudiel to help you act with integrity at all times and to acknowledge the true power that is the power of love, not the love of power. My first recollection of the name Yehudiel was during a healing session I once had while on a retreat in Ibiza after starting a new position at work. With my eyes closed, I felt a powerful angelic presence beside me and clearly heard the name Yehudiel pronounced, oh, here we go, Yehudiel. I think I got it right. I then had a vision of a golden crown being placed on my head. Like the indigenous Rapa Nui Easter Island warrior on his card, this archangel is the patron of all who work in some field of endeavor. His crown symbolizes the reward for spiritual labors. As an advisor to all who hold positions of responsibility and authority, he watches over kings, queens, presidents, judges, and others in positions of power, ensuring they still remain true to God's word. He's also known as the bearer of God's merciful love. Message: I am assisting you with your spiritual endeavor. You are a natural leader. Stay true to your integrity. So it's a very supportive message. Okay, and then our author is giving you some ideas on how to meet Yehudiel. So it looks like we got 2 pages for every card. Diamond Fire Alchemy, Whip and Crown of Salvation. Okay, meditation. Yeah, this is like a guided meditation. So I suppose if you wanted to do this, you'd have to record it and then close your eyes and do it. Become the angel. Do you see yourself as a leader? All right, so here's a chance to sort of walk in the card a little bit. And that's that. So it is, the text is extremely religious and making reference to some of the tenets of Christianity. So if you do not happen to be Christian, I'm going to guess that there's going to be some information in here that's going to leave you scratching your head a little bit. So let's take a look at the colors a little. It's pretty brightly colored. It's very glossy. So that's that. So now my next question is, since I've got all these angel decks now, what in the world am I going to do with them all? Am I going to keep them all? Am I going to combine them? Am I going to spend time thinking about their different types? Can I combine them? So for example, here's this Kyle Gray deck that I made. Took these 2 decks, like I said, I think I said at the beginning, and I separated out the cards that I liked, put them together, put the same edging, and they have different backs, but that doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, stacks right up with this 72 card deck. So it's, I guess it's about 70-ish cards. These seem to be a little thicker and they're bowed. Is it the same size? No, that's not the same size. And I think the Kyle Gray folks would just have a heart attack if I mixed fallen angels in with this deck. But this one, I could conceivably put this one in if I wanted to. So would I make sure that I only had one Azrael? Why is that upside down? Or would I let there be duplicates? And how would I know when to pull for each deck? Like, let's look at this one. So we don't have anybody in action here in this deck. And why is it all mixed up like this? All right, whatever. And everybody's got this nice oval shaped face. I find that a little odd, but it doesn't really trouble me. And they all have super calm expressions on their face, right? In both decks. Everybody's calm. Nobody's worked up about anything. See, isn't that interesting? But in this one, everybody's a little bit more busy, and there's a little more emotion showing on different faces. And like I said, they're doing stuff. We've got a full figure here. It's not a portrait. And then this one, of course, we don't really have faces per se. I mean, we've got, like, yes, there's a face in there, but it's not really about the expression. That owl Is that a snowy, whatever, owls, I feel like owl faces don't really have a lot of emotional expression on them. And yeah, so they are actually pretty different. No matter, it doesn't seem to make any difference that you still have the name of, like you could find the name of an angel in here, in here, and here, be represented very, very differently, right? So I don't know where I'm going with this exactly, or how did I end up with this many angel decks? It's a head scratcher, isn't it? Do you have a lot of angel decks? I'm curious, because I'm not a practicing Christian, and I don't really believe in beings with flappy wings. I'm sorry if that sounded disrespectful. I apologize. I just believe in these like as an archetypal concept energy that can help us to tap into it, to look to it for guidance, for support. Yeah. Sometimes I do feel like there are guardian angels. So I guess there's a lot of gray area for me, a lot of gray area. Anyway, if you found this kind of philosophical rambling somewhat entertaining, hit the like button. If you made it all to the end, congratulations, you're an angel. And I thank you very much for that. And go out there, find something that makes you smile. Thanks for stopping in and watching. Bye-bye.